The Indian IT industry is one of the most important cornerstones of the nation's economy. Commanding a significant global market share and recognition, the industry has grown to be a vital force in advancing the India story and employing millions nationwide. Pune, with its strategic location, quality educational institutes, and skilled workforce, has evolved into a sought-after tech hub in India, attracting many global technology giants. During our visit to Pune, we caught up with a veteran of the IT industry who has experienced the evolution of the Indian tech industry up close. Co-founder of KPIT Technologies, a global software partner to the automotive and mobility ecosystem, Mr. Kishor Patil is closely associated with the industry body NASSCOM as a member of its executive council. He also serves as chair of NASSCOM's ER&D council.
The IT industry is now becoming, total Indian IT industry is almost like $250 billion, right? And exports is around $200 billion. So it's come of age, employing almost 5 million people. So how do you see the evolution?
This has been the industry which has certainly helped in transforming the country in multiple ways, both in terms of employment and the kind of jobs created, and then naturally it has pushed a lot of other industry, including real estate and many other industries. So when we started, I remember that point of time, it was more on the what you call staffing or that kind of industry, large part of the business. But even at that point of time, I must say there are companies who were doing some good work. The main value proposition was, it was more in terms of cost advantage.
Yes.
Now from there it moved to a significant managed projects and creating that cost advantage by doing work in India and having a better quality system. In between there was this large part which was Y2K, which created an opportunity. That is a time when a lot of work started getting offshore because of the talent. And after that, then started a .com area where people started doing the new generation work, if I have to say.
Yeah.
From there, then there was a phase of ERPs where the people, manufacturing companies or other company wanted to become global.
Yes.
And then that's why IT industry basically, I would say, completely adapted to the demand of different times continuously.
Yeah.
Now, after that, when the digital evolution happened, where the digital and the innovation started happening, that's a big shift, and which is still going on.
Yes, and the cloud moving towards the cloud. Yes,
cloud
the migration which is there.
But I am more excited about what we see in future, what we see in future, which is more on engineering, deep tech, sustainability.
Right.
So it is not only cost, quality and time, but I think innovation, deep tech, engineering talent where we add value and bring sustainability, that is the value add I see, and it's a huge opportunity. I mean, just to tell you one data point, last year 50% of the growth of the tech industry came from the engineering part.
Yeah, right. Okay, the incremental growth which
incremental
was
growth,
that's
almost 50%. Right. It's 58 or 48 or so.
Okay, so that's been a sort of really, in terms of the value chain, okay, one has been able to do that transition. But as an entrepreneur, okay, when you started, okay, how you have been what is your journey and how you have been able to adapt yourself to the evolution, how challenging it has been? If you could share that experience, because I mean, in India, IT industry has been a success story of so many entrepreneurs, right? I mean, I've seen the data. There are like more than 130,000 registered IT units in the country, right?
Yeah.
So there are some of the small budding enterprises, some of them have become bigger like you.
I've been very lucky to born in this time when, normal professional middle class could come into business and build a company. I think initially the phase is normal. You are basically trying to create your global presence. That's a major part of the business because that's where the market is, etc. But as after the Y2K part, we thought that being relatively a smaller company at that point in time, as compared to many other companies, we had to take a bold step.
Right.
And everybody was focused on banking, insurance, telecom. So we thought that looking at our passion and etc., we would like to really focus on manufacturing as the key vertical. And when we started working in the manufacturing, we realized that engineering is going to play a big role. The emissions were going to really change, and green engines people were looking at.
Yes.
And that kind of a work is going to be very important. And I guess it just resonated well with us. It was our passion, and we started taking more and more interest in that. Around that time, there was this, we saw multiple reports, including McKinsey and few other things, where they talked about software on wheels, and that's how the automotive industry will change. And you could see that it is reality where the software is playing a major role.
Yes.
And that's when we thought that looking at the disruption, what is happening in automotive, there is an opportunity to become the player in the world, because companies were looking at pure play software companies who understand deep domain and are in a position to work with the OEMs. And that's when we took that plunge where we divested 70% of our business.
Yes. That was a big decision.
Bold decision. And sometimes people thought it was a crazy decision, but we entrepreneurs are always crazy and have that liberty.
You could see the change which was happening, right?
Yes.
Disruption and the opportunity.
Absolutely,
there.
absolutely.
So you have been also chair, ER&D chair at the NASCOM.
Yes.
So how do you see the ER&D industry? Okay, what is the opportunity and the growth for that in other industries also?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I just mentioned to you the last year the ER&D contributed a very significant growth to the total growth of additional growth.
More than 50%, right? For the
It's just around 50%, around 48%. But the trend is very sacrosanct. It is growing. And more and more, if you look at next many decades, the spend into technology, anything you look at, manufacturing, anything which is, whether it is industrial, whether it is, of course, automotive is there. Look at the medical devices.
Yes.
Look at other technologies like drone. Look at space, where
aerospace, space,
and beyond that, now the space is
even defense also. If you look at it, is more about
so the tech is very critical, important. And that's why it is going to really be very, very important. And it is driven by 2-3 things. One is the new age technology companies like us, and also these GCCs, global competency centers, which are coming from the the rest of the world. See, fundamentally the talent which is required here, STEM talent, as you can call, the globally most of the companies, there is a net reduction in this STEM talent every year. Because about 6% people typically retire, and they are in a position. The graduates are only 1.5%. So there is a net reduction, and there is no other country as big as India, specifically in having that software as a base. The second most important part is the market, which is growing, because in all these areas, if you look at it, like automotive, India will be 3rd or 4th largest market.
India is the 3rd largest market.
Yes. Right. So it is like that. Now look at the semiconductor. Now there are more than 100,000 design engineers are already there for global companies in India. But now you see in all core sectors and what India is trying to do, there will be a more push for these sectors. So all these sectors, whether it is industrial, medical, all these sectors, there is a huge push. And as you know, in automotive, for example, electrification, more than 100% growth in the electric vehicles last year. So one is there is a market, there is a innovation. because you're close to market.
Yes.
There are enough startup. We are the third largest startup economy.
Yeah, we have almost like more than 30,000 startups.
Absolutely. And then the talent. So I think we are very well placed.
So what's your advice to entrepreneurs who want to really get into this in this space? Okay, what is, because you have been a successful entrepreneur, you've seen the ups and downs in the transition in the industry.
One, you need to have a passion for something. Because
that's true for any this. Yeah, because you have to. Initial days will be difficult. The passion only keeps you afloat. And
absolutely, you need a passion. I believe the focus will be very important. To being a generalistic, you have to reach a very different scale, and it is difficult for most of the people. But more importantly, more and more, the differentiation is becoming the key. So clear focus will be very important, and innovation is going to be very important. It's not only the export market, but India market by itself is big, right, which is growing.
Yeah.
So I think it will provide a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurs. Yeah. And ultimately, entrepreneurs will build this country.
You also see opportunities in the Indian companies, because we haven't seen IT services companies really catering large to the domestic market.
I am a very firm believer that it's a market and you have to service it. And then you can have the same, if not better, margins. Every market needs a different approach. And I guess, but now many companies, you can see their growth in India or Asia is higher than the Western countries. And overall, if I can tell you, Indian market, it will be good anyway. But ER&D, if you look at it, as I said, currently we are about 40 billion market in India. It is expected to be 3 times, 120 billion plus in the next 7-8 years.
Okay.
So it's a huge market by itself, but it's a global also. But as I said, it's ultimately you're looking at the market, looking at the opportunities. India itself is a big market. I really do hope that many Indian corporations will become global.
Yeah, they are. And I think India is poised, right? You have a large domestic market, and you have the capabilities, because what work you are doing for the global OEMs. Okay, the same of this thing, technology can be utilized over here if they're able to invest over there. And you have been catering to some of the large global players. So what are their expectations from India, and how do they see India in terms of delivery and the services? Okay, is it really the top class, or there are improvements, which areas we need to do to be able to keep our competitive edge?
So overall, this was naturally, they always looked at India for scale and
mainly to reduce your cost. They always do cost takeout. These are very easy.
That was a large part. When we created this specialized company, it was a little hard for us to say that we are the best in automotive technology, coming from India, because India was not known for automotive technology. So we established a very large center. We have more than 2,000 people based in Munich, which we created both organically and inorganically, which gave us a very deep domain knowledge. More than 30 nationalities we have hired in that center.
Right.
And that is what helped us to change the perception about what we as a company can do. And then slowly they realized that specifically the COVID helped us to establish that a lot of work still gets done from globally. And then that's when they started looking India more seriously. One, scale is always there, software is always there, but now innovation, deep tech, that's how they have started looking at it.
Okay.
And also the thought leadership. What we did is different conferences, different papers published in different technical journals. KPIT took quite a bit of lead. And that helped us to establish us as a thought leader, and they could see that a lot of new things are also coming.
So I think IT industry has been in the developed world. That's where people identify India with that, right? And that's where I think our image, right, as a supplier to the globe has clearly been up there. And you've seen that benefiting now other industries also, where we want to grow and be a supply chain for the world. I think that clearly reputation helps over there, right?
I just hope that
delivery of the IT company.
Absolutely, but I just hope it will move towards more as a tech company where from the technology is coming, where the thought leadership is coming.
Not just because of a cost arbitrage.
The products are coming even this. So I think that is a very important part, and that's where I mentioned that the engineering and deep tech and sustainability, they are becoming the drivers for ER&D industry. And I'm sure in the overall IT or tech industry now, we have a huge opportunity in terms of AI.
Yes.
That is a disruption. We have the largest number of people who are working on AI in the world. And that's what is really crucial for the world. And that's where India can change their image I would say elevate our image, elevate our positioning. We have money, we have the talent, we have the market, and also the research and educational institutions which are available. So I think we have the ecosystem now well set. It's a question of time.
So do you see any changes or some development or industry needs to work with the education institute so that the engineers which come out are readily employable and can be working on that?
So we had to work with the institutes. I think there are a lot of enablement has happened. New education policies, autonomous colleges are very keen to really work on curriculum which will provide the people job opportunities, make them job ready. New technologies can come. Then there's a lot of investment which is happening in the laboratories in the colleges.
Right.
So if you work with them, if you work with the colleges, you work with this, it's quite possible. And now many research is also happening with many professors and with the faculty in the colleges.
Right.
Startup ecosystem is also working with the colleges. They are incubating colleges.
Okay.
So you have to leverage that.
On the other hand, also there is a worry, right? That now we are seeing AI, right, which has been the buzzword in the last, say, 1.5 years or so. And whether that means that a lot of low-end jobs which are there, whether it's the BPO side or the testing side, which can get automated. And this has been a large IT industry for employment generation for the youths. So do you see that as a challenge where the opportunities for the new engineers are coming in will dwindle, or how should one see in this landscape where you are seeing AI in some way disrupting also, but at the same time also throwing some more opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. And see, I would say that it has happened over the period. If you see any new technology, when the ERPs came, people thought that you can't develop now the software. There is a clear product available. What will be the opportunity? Anything new comes, there is always a little bit of I would say, disruption in some way, a little bit. But in case of AI, I think it is so across the businesses and technologies. And as I mentioned, India being at the forefront in terms of number of professionals. And see, basically AI comes from mathematics, where Indians are very good. So I believe it can be turned into a really an opportunity, big opportunity. However, in the short term, it will have its own repercussion. But I think it will lead to a lot of innovation. It will lead to a lot of productivity gains. Naturally, the ratio in which the people were hiring, maybe productivity will go up drastically. Now, if the industry is able to keep the high growth, then of course there should not be any issue.
Thank you. Pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure talking to you.
From sending Indian programmers for short-term projects for overseas clients to creating high-end technology, the country has come a long way in becoming a force to reckon with. The Indian IT industry is truly a testament to Make in Bharat, made for the world. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.